da musst du auch den Tod anlegen. Mama, da musst du auch den Tod anlegen.
Welcome to the floating city here in the middle of Italy. This is Venice, and today we're going to explore one of the most famous squares in the entire world, St. Mark's. I'm so excited to take you, all of you, here to this wonderful, wonderful place. Let's start right now at the Grand Canal as we make our way on the public ferry system all the way to St. Mark's.
Guck mal, da ist die Station, wo wir oben waren. Kommen wir beim Lido vorbei.
Nein, Markus,
so.
And of course here we have the gondolas passing by, a very long tradition.
Der hat gerade wie schön geregnet.
Doch, wir steigen aus. Sorry, wir steigen aus. Sorry, hör auf. Hör auf.
E qui dove siamo? Più avanti non ferma.
Sì, quella dopo. San Zaccaria. A Marco San Zaccaria. La prossima. La mia ha mandato questo. Me l'ha mandato Marco.
So that was the bus, the Vaporetto, which is kind of a ferry system, though some people call it more of a bus system because it has set routes and it passes way more frequently than even any normal ferry service that you would encounter like in New York. You can get a pass, this machine right here, 3-day pass. It costs you €40 if you're staying here for 3 days, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and 7 days. If you're staying here for 4 days or 5 days like I am, might be more worth it getting a 7-day pass. And now we're arriving to the most important spot on this exploration today, San Marco, St. Mark's. Now, of course, watch your step because over here in Venice, we aren't in the city with streets or roads, asphalt. No, none of that. Or cobblestones, maybe on the small sidewalks. But here we are in the city where all the streets are waterways. So I finally have arrived to a location where there is no cars, and I am so happy to be exploring this city. Now, my first impressions, I came here yesterday. This city is 100% a tourist destination, and it's been like that for more than 300 years. So the city is indeed a museum, just like Florence is. But immediately I fell in love with this museum because it's so unique. And right there, we have La Campanile, St. Mark's beautiful clock tower or bell tower. Hello, Kenya. Hello, Paul. Do you have that sinking feeling? No. Good pun, but no, I don't have a sinking feeling. You can see the moss building up here. And here we have the huge Venetian lagoon. Now this Venetian lagoon is actually protected by a very long island called Lido, which is right over there, you see it. Hello, Sally. Nice to see you here. Hello, Vita. I love the way that Venice smells. Indeed. It smells rather salty. Look at this.
Que bueno, que al principio no íbamos ahí. Al principio no íbamos ahí.
Stavamo dicendo. E che tu sei
Here are all the gondolas parked right now. There's about 400 licensed gondola riders or navigators, and those licenses are passed down families. So if a gondolier dies, his widowed wife ends up taking the license, and I assume that she can pass it down to whoever she wants or sell it. There used to be thousands of gondoliers here in Venice. Of course, boat traffic probably was a lot more packed before the age of mass tourism of the mid-1900s and forward. Jau asked, does Venice smell funny? No, it smells rather clean and salty. So we have arrived to Gran Venezia. And no, everyone, this is not the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. I decided to show you the real thing. I hope that's okay. I hope you don't mind that, you know, we're not going to the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. Do let me know in the comments. But this is Venice. Yes, the real thing, not a green screen, not a hotel in Las Vegas, the real Venice. But what is Venice? Venice is literally a city built in the middle of a lagoon. Now, I've shown you before Mexico City. Mexico City was known as the Venice of the West when people, the conquistadors, that city because it reminded them of this. But unlike Mexico City, it has stayed a city in a lagoon, built with canals in the middle to navigate through. Mexico City, they decided to fill it in. So here it's retained that original charm, even more than 1,000+ years later. Venice was founded in the 800s AD and was a republic for many, many centuries, all the way to the 1700s. Kaz says, I bet it's easy to get lost. Oh, yes it is. But that's the beauty of Venice. I had the chance to spend an afternoon here wandering around, and getting lost, I think, is the best part of this city. And we'll be doing subsequent live videos where we do get lost. Now here we're starting to hear the dueling orchestras of the old Grand Cafés of St. Mark's Plaza. These orchestras actually play as the other local cafes also have their own orchestras. So sometimes they're dueling against each other. These guys are playing some old jazz tunes from the 1920s. Now these cafes, some of them date all the way back to the 1700s or earlier, and they're some of the oldest cafes in all of Europe. So yes, the oldest coffee shop in Europe is apparently just around the corner, continuously running, which I'll show you soon, Café Florian. Ooh, what song is that? Sometimes. That's the lyric for that song. Wendy says, I want to be here now. Yes, Wendy. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Doge's Palace. And no, I'm not talking about the coin, the cryptocurrency that's taking all around the world by storm. No, the original Doge, not the dog, but the ruler of the Republic of Venice. But the Doge wasn't quite your normal ruler. He was not a king, he was not the Medici family, the Grand Dukes of Tuscany like Cosimo I, where they held power and no one could really contest them, maybe except for a few other families who had very deep pocket interests. The Grand Doge was kind of like the President of the United States of America. There was a serious limitation on his power. He had a massive council. He had a tribunal, which was a tribune, which was people directly under him, 2 people, limiting his own power directly. And then beyond that, he had a council. He had a lot of the aristocracy that passed down power, and then also elected officials. So this was indeed one of the few republics in Europe amongst era in the Middle Ages where it was surrounded by lords, dukes, and kings, and popes, and religious leaders. Let me show you an image of a Doge. As the music is playing there in the background. So this is how a Doge will look like. This was one of the Doges, I think, from the 1700s or so, early 1700s. But they usually had this kind of pointy cap with a golden brim, and they always wore this very lovely golden and red cloak. And they tend to be bearded. A lot of them were indeed bearded, and they also tend to be older. Unlike other powers that be in Europe, where the rulers were much younger because they inherited their power. And this is where his palace used to be at. So Venice, literally a city built in the middle of a lagoon on a few small islands and extended with hundreds, thousands of pylons dug into the riverbed, into the lagoon bed. And that's the city that we are walking through today. That huge canal that we see in the center, that actually follows a riverbed of an underground river. So the canal is now fully man-made, and that's where we started earlier today. A lot of people say that Venice looks like a huge fish. So you can see the tail right there, closer to the island of Lido, which protects the lagoon, and the head of the fish close to the train station and to the causeway that connects it to the mainland. Can you go inside, Vita? I'm going tomorrow, Vita. I'm going inside tomorrow to the Doge's palace. I'm not sure if there's service in there. If there is, I might do a live video. If there isn't, it's going to be available as a 360 bonus video. I just want to take this all in, so let me just take our sweet, sweet, sweet time walking through here. Sayan says, Venice, hope you're in good health. Indeed I am. I'm very grateful that I'm in good health and can walk very long distances and travel to all these places and share with all of you all around the world. Right here, we have a weird 2 columns that are pink in color, which is rather odd. Why do we have 2 pink columns amongst all these other white marble columns in the Corinthian style? Well, according to legend, the Doge will come out here during major ceremonies that were in the town square. But the reason they are pink, at least according to legend, is because they resemble or evoke the color of blood. The Doge, aside from hosting ceremonies or kicking off the carnival that happened here, or passing new laws or new business regulations, was also the man in charge of passing death sentences. According to legend, the reason that these are pink is because they were meant to be the color of blood as he would pass a death sentence right here in public for everyone to hear. Those death sentences sometimes were carried out here at the San Marco Campanile, the bell tower of St. Mark, and there would be huge cages dangling off with the prisoner either starving to death in public or sometimes their dead corpse hung there for days. So don't mess. Now this connects with the Basilica of St. Mark, and we're kind of gonna backtrack a little bit and then come back here to the main square. But let me show you this. This is made of porphyry stone, which is a stone that comes from Egypt. And this shows how much the Venetians looted and bought and sold and resold things from all around the world. This depicts 4 rulers all embracing each other. Some people say that these rulers are the rulers hanging on to the very last breaths, the very last days of the Roman Empire. Donald says, displaying dead bodies is a reminder that history isn't often romantic as we imagine it. Indeed. Indeed. Indeed, Donald, yeah. All right, so you'll be seeing this soon. Hopefully tomorrow during the day. Now, Venice was a city that was the hub of commerce for many, many centuries. Being traded between east and west, everything passed through Venice. It was so important. Even the Venetians had an entire corridor, entire gigantic bazaar in Istanbul, Constantinople. So that's why here there is so many riches to be seen in public, because they had to display they displayed their wealth one way or another, and they did that through their extravagant architectural style. But also, a lot of people came here from all around the world, so you can just imagine that Venice was kind of like New York in the modern day. New York, you pass through any street in Manhattan, you'll hear Spanish, you'll hear Portuguese, Chinese, different dialects of Chinese, like from the dialects from Guangdong, you'll hear Japanese, Korean, many languages from Africa, all around New York. Venice was like that. It was a very international city because people here were doing trades. Maybe not the same ethnicities that we have in New York, but you can imagine Europeans and people from the Near East, languages from all around. And that said, they also provide some entertainment for these passerbyers here in the shape of Corinthian columns. So these Corinthian columns actually depict stories, different stories. Some of them may be biblical, some of them might be a little bit more raunchy, some of them might be simple morality tales. I'll show you one specific one that's very beautiful and bittersweet. But this column, Corinthian columns, usually have a base. But wait, where's the base? Where's the base? Where is it? Where did it go? Where did the base go? What do you think? Corinthian column? Doesn't seem very extravagant to make this Corinthian column kind of baseless. What happened to the base, ladies and gentlemen? Hey Lucy, nice to see you here. Welcome. Hey Justin, welcome. Venice is also steeped in occult history. I have noticed, starting to research the city, I have noticed that. And I'm going to investigate further. Thank you for saying it. What a shame Mary Jane is tuning in. Hey, what a shame Mary Jane. Love the comparison between the role of Venice back in the day and New York nowadays. Hope you're enjoying Venice. I definitely am. Blood must run, I suppose. Estaban borrachos y se olvidaron. Victoria has a great theory. She says that they were drunk, too drunk, and they just forgot the bass. I love that theory. Me encanta esa teoría. No es correcto, pero después los venecianos, yo creo que así se dice en español, the Venetians later got very drunk. Ellos se emborrachaban mucho, pero eso era mucho más después. They got drunk, but that's a little bit later in Venice's history. No, the reason there is no bass here is because if you see modern videos, go on YouTube and search St. Mark's Square being flooded. It gets flooded very often. And the city has been sinking ever since for hundreds of years. You know, when people say, ooh, Venice is sinking, it's nothing new. This has been sinking since the very beginning of Venice. Well, this is evidence of the sinking. There used to be bases here. But the pavement has been built up and up, and it has eventually covered up the base. So here there is a very beautiful story on these columns, and this is the one. The story starts with here, and then you go all around. So here we see a man courting a woman who's popping out of a balcony, just like in Romeo and Juliet. telling her how beautiful she is, beckoning her to come down so they can escape for a while. They finally get to meet face to face, and this is where he makes his move. They're flirting with each other. She's brushing his hair. They're holding hands. And finally, the courtship gets very serious. Maybe they start professing their love for each other, and they kiss. But then, things get frisky. They are in the bedroom. All throughout the night, under the moonlight, rocking the entire foundations of their Venetian home. And then this couple brings a child into the world, a little baby boy. And this baby boy ends up taking his very first steps off to start exploring a new world, them growing up as parents, also learning about their own lives from raising a child. But then, the final one, the baby dies. It's his funeral. We're there, saddened by the loss of their child. This was an all too familiar experience for a lot of the residents of Venice, because Venice was plagued many times. Two major plagues hit Venice: malaria and the Black Death. And the infant mortality rate through those two plagues was very high. And that was a very common experience that many people had. So a very bittersweet column story. Zap says, oh my God, look how beautiful the sky is. Yes. Kenya says, that was such an emotional roller coaster. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. Who knew there was a whole novel in the column? Yes. Here's the pigeons of Venice. Kids love chasing the pigeons. So the Doge's palace was built in the 9th century, so in the 800 AD, when Venice was founded. And then later it was built many times over and over again, hence the more and more extravagant details in the 12th, 14th, and 15th centuries. Where's the water? Oh, we will see it right there. Right there is the water.
Les gars, vous suivez?
Encore les pauvres des amis.
Hey, Mala says, so glad you're in Venice today. It's such a beautiful place, especially away from the San Marco area. Oh no, Mala, we're going right to the San Marco area today. But stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to do other places. Oh, look at that boat. I want to visit that area as well. That's a really cool area. So I love all the different squares that they have here in Venice. Very beautiful skyline. You're lucky to have a less hot day here, says Cake Fake. Yes, it is. It is nice and breezy and cool today. So as we go up this bridge, I gotta tell you about one man that you probably have heard his name before, or at least people attributing the name to someone's lifestyle, Casanova. Casanova, of course, was a very famous Venetian who wrote his life memoirs. Casanova was actually imprisoned by pissing off a very rich person here in Venice. And the prison was actually attached right directly to the Doge's palace. This was the prison of Venice. And right here we have the Bridge of Sighs. This bridge connected the Doge's palace with the prison. So according to Casanova's account, Casanova was getting tired of being in prison. Of course, who doesn't? Who likes prison? Well, maybe some people do. Watch the movie Shawshank Redemption for that story. But Casanova wanted out. Casanova conspired with his prison mate to chisel into the ground, and after months and months and months of chiseling into the ground, he finally dug a hole out of the prison and was one of the very first people to ever escape from the Doge's prison. Now, the reason they call it the Bridge of Sighs was a name attributed by Lord Byron, who loved Venice himself. And he mentioned, paraphrasing of course, that every time someone would pass through this bridge, being convicted over here in the Doge's palace and being sometimes very discreetly brought into prison, because the Venetians were known to have secret courts. Unlike in many modern places around the world, it's illegal to completely convict someone in fully secret. Lord Byron said that they passed, and every time they passed, they would look out onto the canals and sigh, because there would be no way out. Emma says, now I want to see the Casanova movie. So the Casanova movie actually depicts this Bridge of Sighs starring Heath Ledger, who's actually a perfect person to have played Casanova. Now I gotta rewatch it myself as well. Na says, the Merchant of Venice. Yeah, the Merchant of Venice does take place here, of course. I will find out where. I will be visiting the Jewish ghetto at some point. So stay tuned. Cian Nothos says, I love the BBC series with David Tennant as Casanova. Yeah, David Tennant is a unique pick for Casanova, I must say. I'll show you a little peek of walking down here, and then let's go back to St. Mark's. Tammany says, oh wow, so picturesque. Oh yes, indeed it is.
Pretty sure it's over there because they keep coming from over there.
Wendy says charming and delightful. Oh, yes. I think this is still, you can still visit this to this day. Are you taking a ride on the gondolier? Says Kay. Gondolas are expensive. Gondolas are €100 for 35 minutes. And it seems to be regulated, so it seems like they won't charge you more. Maybe if people choose to sponsor a gondola ride at some point. Stay tuned. Suzanne, we almost met. You're on the train back home right now. Oh, Suzanne, I hope you enjoy Venice. Tracy sent 200 stars. Thank you so much. Ciao, amici, says Tutan. Ciao, amici. Maria says, yeah, that's expensive. But yeah, well, I mean, you can, some gondolas have capacity up to 6 people. So I think once you start getting beyond 3 people, it becomes a little bit better price. But for one, it is expensive, yeah. Here we have the winged lion of Venice. This is the main symbol of Venice. And this symbol is associated with St. Mark, where the square gets its name. But the thing is, Venice wasn't always associated with St. Mark. Venice had to forcefully get St. Mark's name associated with this city. Let's find out how. Here are 2 columns that were taken as booty from war. The Venetians love invading a whole lot of different ports around the world, especially when they wouldn't allow those ports to trade. And also, according to legend, these columns were used also to hang prisoners. The other side here we have a different saint piercing the crocodile, St. George. St. George was one of the saints originally associated with Venice. And then the other one was St. Zachariah, St. Zach. Yeah, that's amazing. Good job. Rebecca, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Irene says, you're in Venice, so awesome. Oh, yes, I am. All right, everyone, if you want us to continue, slam that like button right now. Slam that like button like the Venetians slammed shut all their deals. They were perfect deal closers, gaining some of the rarest items in the world. So slam that like button like they slammed the banking system in Europe. So let me know if you're on Team Like. And if you're on Facebook, share this video with any relevant Facebook groups about travel, about Europe, or about Italy. Fang slammed it. Oh, thank you so much, Fang. I appreciate you. 100 years ago, 1902. It was very quiet day in Venice. And suddenly a huge sound is heard, bending metal. It shrieks throughout the entire city. People start panicking all around St. Mark's. They have no idea what's happening, but they're very afraid. The sound is coming from the tower, the campanile. The original tower was built many, many centuries ago in the 10th century. It was a marvel of architecture back then. And as people started running away, the tower started to tilt. And as that tilted, it completely collapsed. The angel on top of the tower, there's a golden angel. That angel landed all the way down, boom, to right in front of the Basilica. And guess what? The angel was standing upright. And no, this is not legend because this was actually documented. The tower collapsed. The interesting thing is that there's a tower in New York City built exactly like this one, just a different material rather than brick. And that tower actually predates the modern reconstruction. This was reconstructed a few years later. And that tower in New York was reconstructed almost around the same time, or was constructed almost around the same time of the event. And that's the MetLife Insurance Tower in the Madison Square. So this is a rebuilt tower. Here's the loggia, which was built right in front of the tower by a very, very famous architect. Zap says that would have had me scared. Oh yes, Zap. So yeah, just imagine this collapsing, and unfortunately it did. However, now you can enter it and there's an elevator that goes straight up. Now here we can see the levels of water and how dangerous the water levels can get, according to this steps along the tower. And right there. The two Moors. Those statues, those bronze statues that we're seeing on top are Moors. Moors are people from North Africa, and they're ringing the bells. Hey, Sunshine says a little inspiration to keep us showing wonderful Venice. Oh yeah, my pleasure, Sunshine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Me gusta el color, dice Victoria. Sí, el color es bien bonito. Yes, the color is very beautiful. So yeah, New York has a Venice connection. The MetLife Insurance Building, built exactly like this. The clock is actually a little bit bigger. Not to brag on New York City's part. And New York City's one is actually older than this now world famous one. Here we have something very interesting. A lot of people, very few people actually look down and don't know what this is. So here we have this gigantic square, but you gotta look down. And we have drainage holes. The thing is, these drainage holes have a limit. And once they start puddling around, that's when the Venetians know that the high tide is coming. The acqua alta, which they call. And that's when the city starts putting up these planks. They were made of wood, I think now they're made out of metal. And they'll put these planks, walkways, all along the square so people can get back to their homes in safety. If it gets very, very, very bad, there's a huge alarm that is rung. An emergency bell. So everyone in the town knows that they have to protect their furniture, go back home, make sure their doors are sealed, so the water won't get too high and damage everything. Are there still a lot of pigeons here? Yes, Barbara. There's a lot of pigeons here, and I think I got pooped on. I think I got pooped on. Maybe it's on my shirt, but I definitely felt poop. So yeah, there's still pigeons, but not as much as there used to be. I've seen photos. Let me know if anyone's visited Venice many decades in the past. There's very few pigeons. Whoa! Sandy sent 100 stars and Sunshine sent $5. Sunshine, thank you so much for $5. Lulu sent 100 Uruguayans. Thank you so much. Let me know how much is 100 Uruguayans in USD. Thank you so much for the 100 Uruguayans. And thank you so much, Sandy, for the 1,000 stars. That 1,000 stars is about $10. So thank you so much. And Facebook again this month is doubling. If we get to 75,000 stars, they'll be doubling it. So your star, Sandy, counts for 2 if we get to that goal. So that means your stars are actually 2,000 stars. Thank you so much for sending those stars. And Maria sends $20 super chat. Thank you so much for another amazing exploration. Oh, Maria is starting the Gondola Fund. Thank you so much, Maria, for starting the Gondola Fund. So there is a Gondola Fund. If we end up getting to 100 euro, I will be showing a gondola ride that's about 35 minutes around the city. And we'll be doing it all live. So thank you so much for putting into the Gondola Fund. Let's continue exploring. And here we have the music from Café Florian. And we will be visiting Café Florian at some point because this is the oldest continuously running coffee shop in the entire world. Of course, there's another one in Austria that claims that, but I don't think the Blue Bottle Cafe in Austria was running continuously. Here we have the Procurate Novo. And this was designed in 1582 by Vincenzo Scamozzi to complete the vast reorganization of the square which had begun under San Sovino, who designed the loggia right in front of the campanile. This building was ultimately finished by Baldassare Longhina in around 1640. And it was intended to house the apartments and the offices of the city's main administrative bodies. It would, but after the fall of the Republic, it became incorporated within the royal palace, which during the course of the 19th century served the Napoleonic, the Habsburgs, and the Savoy rulers. Since 1922, it's been home to the Carrere Museum and the National Archaeological Museum. What song is this? In other words, hold my hand. Oh, what song is that? Fly Me to the Moon. Yes. Fly Me to the Moon. They're doing a cover of Fly Me to the Moon. Here we have the older. So there's 3 governmental buildings here. This one's the oldest, and the way we can tell it's the oldest is because it has these Ionic columns, and there are 2 floors. And then later, they built this very elaborate one. And this elaborate one started with Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian on the very top. And this is more governmental buildings. Maria, thank you so much for the super chat again. St. Mark's is also a marketplace in New York City. Coincidence? Ooh, Justin, I think it might be coincidence. It was called St. Mark's before it became a commercial street. That was developed as housing originally. 100 Uruguay is $2.32. Thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate that. $3. And the police offices are here. Residencia. Oh no, these are the police officers. This is the Civic Museum of Venice. Miss Fancy is putting towards the gondola fund. Oh, and Henning. Henning is putting towards the gondola fund as well. So we got 20, 20, 40, and 50. We got 50, give or take euro. Thank you so much, Henning and Miss Fancy for the gondola fund. Ooh, okay, this is kind of cool. All right, we just may see a gondola ride. It's gonna be very packed. I hope the gondolier can handle 500 people. I'll ask him. It has to be a very strong gondolier. Very strong gondolier. So here we have Café Florian. Now, the prices are insane, but of course you pay for the view. And I'll show you the menu after. So, to get a caffè doppio, which usually is €2 maximum, is $10.50. If you want a cappuccino, if you want to really get, frisky, order a cappuccino, $10.50 right here. $10.50 over a cappuccino. $10.50. But they also have some bitters, some beers, and some parfaits. And cocktails. And let me show you the inside. Look how gorgeous this is. Wow. Oh my God, is that Fly Me to the Moon? Yes, that was Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra himself. And thank you so much, Cake Fate, for $3 for the gondola fund. So we got $53 so far for the gondola fund. Yeah, you'll have to rent a whole cruise for us and a full orchestra. This is Irene. Don't quote me, but they charge extra for entertainment. I don't think they charge you for the entertainment here. The super high prices for the coffee is because you have entertainment and you're paying for the view. Probably won't be an amazing cup of coffee either, so don't expect too high. Oh. Moon River, ladies and gentlemen, very New York music. Henry Mancini. Maureen with the $1,000, $10 more for the gondola fund. We're now at 63. Paul sent 2,400 stars. Thank you so much, Paul. So 63 now. We are at 24 more. And now we have Vincenzo, the Venetian pigeon. $87 now for the gondola fund. Dollars is worth a little bit less than euro. See. Oh my God, I'm coming back here. And yes, you can have coffee here too. Right now you need a green pass, so you need to show proof of vax. But yeah, you can dine here. Oh, that's amazing. Zap says that's a perfect slow dance song. Can't you just imagine? Oh, yes, it is. Bravo, says Zap. That was great. Susie sent 5 stars, $5 plus 87, $92. So 100 euros, about $120, give or take. Is it? Every $5 is one more extra dollar. 5 divided by 100 is... Ooh, wow. Yeah, it's 20. Yeah. So it's about 120 for $120 is about 100 euro. A lot of seagulls. Yes, they are. And they get very close to you. So it's very funny. Rico, how old am I? I'm old enough. Rico. Old enough. Don't tell anyone I'm 19. Hey, Ciguenas says music, wonderful. Oh my God. Kid is screaming. All right. Let's see if we can find out.
I will find something for 200 euros.
Oh, find something you like for 200 euros.
I'm going, Maureen, send $20. Spresiano says, did I go for coffee? No, I did not. I mean, if you want to see coffee there, do let me know. That's something I might go towards an evening to show you, so stay tuned. Maybe this very evening, I'll show you Cafe Florian. It might get more packed during the evening, I'm not entirely sure. But here, there's a very interesting plaque, and let's see if we can find it. Oh, I think I see it. What's the Mark story, says Just Vibes. Ooh, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will be seeing the story about St. Mark very soon. So here right now we have the Museo Correre. And this is the Napoleonic expansion of these governmental buildings. When Napoleon took over these parts of Italy, he decided to tear down an old church that was here and rebuild a new wing in order to complete this entire square and make it really feel fully enclosed. The thing is, this one is much older and it's only 2 stories. And that one's much newer. And they tried their very hardest to match up the entire new wing with each other. But this one, just a little bit off. It's a bit too short on this side. And on this other side, just a bit too tall. Mater, just send a PayPal for the gondola ride. All right, woo woo. We have a lot of people with the gondola ride. Thank you so much, Mater, for the gondola ride. PayPal, do let us know. Have we passed $120/100 euro? Areas of Crete and Mykonos look just like Venice, says Paul. Oh, yes, because Crete was part of Venice, of the Republic, for the longest time. Oh, now a lot of pigeons are gathering. Someone's been feeding them. We like all your videos. Grazie. Is that Napoleon Bonaparte that you're talking about? Yes, it is. Napoleon Bonaparte. So a lot of pigeons are coming in, someone's feeding them. And now it's looking like old Venice. Hey, Jasmine says lovely shots. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Do you have more stories about the Moors? You know, the thing is, this, the Moors, these clock towers, I mean, these statues that are banging on the clock, on the bell, are said to be Moors, but no one knows 100% for sure if they were actually based on Moors. However, here we have the Basilica of St. Mark. And this basilica is a massive mishmash of different architectural styles. We have the Romanesque style with the arches there on the first level. And then we have Venetian Gothic with all these pointy towers. And then we have Muslim style architecture, Islamic style architecture that you would see in Turkey, with these onion-shaped domes. And you have some Greek influences with the columns, and also some Roman influences too, with the columns too. What is this guy dressed as? That's so interesting. If anyone knows, I'm not sure if he's dressed as something or he's actually a clergyman, but dressed very uniquely. Looks like a clergy outfit from the Catholic Church. Magnificent Basilica, oh yes. Cake Fate says, imagine being here for Carnival, oh yes. Ludo says the Pope? No, he's not dressed as a Pope. Good guess though. Here we have 3 flagpoles. It's the young Pope, Jude Law. From a monastery of some sort? Maybe, yeah, dressed very uniquely. Has a beard too, so maybe he's not a Catholic priest. Here we have 3 flagpoles. These 3 flagpoles were the 3 jewels of the Venetian Republic. Those 3 jewels were Crete, the Peloponnese, and then we have one last one. Do let us know. What's the last jewel of the Venetians? Crete, the Peloponnese, and they had one more. Hint, hint, it's very, very nearby. They didn't go too far for this other jewel. SJ says gondola ride would be great. Oh yes. He is there just for pictures, just like on Times Square. Yeah. But what is he dressed as? That's something I'm very curious about. I see you in Venice webcam. Oh, cool, Raul. That's awesome. It's awesome that you see me on Venice webcam. Here we have the clock tower. This clock tower is done in the 24-hour segments, and it represents the zodiac and also the phases of the moon. But the cool thing about this clock tower, of course, we have, again, the wing line up there, the symbol of this. But we also have the oldest digital clock in the world. Right there is the oldest digital clock in the world. Actually digital, and it changes every 30 minutes. White tube monk might be a Benedictine. Oh, thank you so much, Alexander. Maybe Benedictine. So the oldest digital clock in the world. That's crazy. Hey, Irene, nice to see you here. Welcome. Where's Mighty Bull? He would love that. Yes, Mighty Bull will love that. We have seen a few bulls. Irene, thank you so much for 50 stars. Irene has sent 50 cents more for the Gondola Fund. Hermes says, gondola rides are so romantic. I didn't take one until I went with my husband. Oh, yes. So here we have the story of why St. Mark is the patron saint of this city. And April, nice to see you here. Yes, I made it to Venice. And hello, Kenya. And also, another architectural feature of this very eclectic church is Byzantine-style golden mosaics that we saw a lot in Greece, especially in Thessaloniki. Right here we have the body of St. Mark. Irene sent another 480 stars. Oh, thank you so much, Irene. Irene has sent a little bit more than $5 US. Thank you so much for the Gondola Fund. Now, one thing you'll notice here also, beyond all the different architectural elements, is that they use stones literally from everywhere. All the stones are just a huge mishmash of different patterns, lines of the stone, even shapes and orientations. Brian has sent another $5 to the Gondola Fund. Thank you so much, Brian. So, as I mentioned, originally, this city was named after Saint Zachariah. And then they experimented a little bit with Saint George. But Saint George, as we see with the column over here, he's known for piercing a huge alligator. Saint Zachariah was the father of one of the first apostles. Not really that interesting. Not really that interesting. So Saint Zach ain't known for much more than that. Alexander has sent $20 for a Gondola Fund. Oh, thank you so much, Alexander, for the Gondola Fund. Okay, everyone, stay tuned for the Gondola Fund. We'll find the gondola. Stay tuned. We'll find the guy who's down to be on video, and we'll show you a 35-minute gondola ride. So Venice had to do something. They were without a really good saint. Back then, in 800 AD, it was imperative for a city to have a saint. Well, you might be thinking, okay, just pick a saint, name it after that. It wasn't that easy. They had to have a relic, a piece of that saint. And they couldn't have one of those BS relics, like the breath of Jesus, or the single lock of hair of Mary Magdalene. No, they couldn't do that. They had to have something substantial. So the Venetians started thinking ahead. They knew that just across the Mediterranean in Alexandria, there was the alleged body of St. Mark. St. Mark, one of the forewriters of the New Testament. Well, they got thinking. So they end up making a legend. According to the legend of St. Mark, he got washed adrift when he was going in the Mediterranean, spreading the word of Jesus. And he landed here in the great city of Venice. And as he was going through the Venetian lagoon, he saw the archangel Michael descend from the heavens and tell him, "Here you shall rest." Archangel Michael was predicting where St. Mark will eventually have his body laid to rest. But centuries from now, because of course the Archangel Michael is a very smart angel that sees beyond time and space. No one knows. This is not really in the lore of the Bible. This was legend more made up by the Venetians. Well, they used this legend to their advantage, saying that the Muslims who ruled over Alexandria had to give back the body of St. Mark. They deserve the body of St. Mark here in Venice. This is his fate. Well, also the Islamics had affinity for the saints of the Christian religion, because Islam was also born out of Christianity, or born out of the Abrahamic religions, not Christianity. So they shared some of the original saints. Well, they had to do something. They had to go. They had to go. I have two kids following me around and staring at me. They had to go and think of a way to get this body. Buying it wasn't going to work. Alexandria was not going to give it up. Well, they had to do another more risky way. They had to take it by force. But the Venetians were really a gigantic military power. They had a good navy, but they weren't about to conquer Alexandria. That would have been out of the question. They aren't the Turks. They aren't the Byzantines. They had to do a heist. So they planned a heist. And they went by ship towards Alexandria in secret. They, of course, were merchants. And they went towards the body of St. Mark that was heavily guarded, and they took it. But they had to escape. And the way they had to escape is they had to hide the smell of the body of St. Mark. Well, why would a body that's already been dead for more than 800 years have to be hidden? Well, according to ancient Christian lore, the bodies of saints had a very serene, beautiful smell to them. They smell like a gigantic bouquet of flowers. And that anyone near a beautiful, saintly body would immediately know and detect, oh wait, there's that saintly smell. So, in order to hide that saintly smell, they put St. Mark's body into pork. Yep, literally pork. The Muslims weren't going to really take a second look at pork because they don't care for pork, because they don't eat it. And thus, they ended up taking a ship across the Mediterranean and smuggling St. Mark's body back, or not back, or to Venice. And St. Mark's finally lived up to his so-called fate of being laid to rest here. So that is probably one of the more epic medieval heists that I've ever heard about. And it should be made into a Netflix film, because I think that would be so epic. So, to this day, the alleged body of St. Mark is here within the Basilica. And it was not taken by war or crusade, it was taken by pure thievery. And here we have the entire scene depicting it. It's loud, yeah, the bells are loud. And that's what Spider-Man had to save in the movie Far From Home. Justin says this is an incredible story. Oh yes it is, Justin. Yes it is. What song was the bells playing? Oh, I don't know. I visited there during the pandemic. Oh, before the pandemic in 2019. I'm curious if you can still see the water line from the last flood. Ooh, great question, amazing. I'll be more aware and see if I can see it. Spider-Man is a truly American classic. It is, George. So yes, this is indeed where Spider-Man took a school trip in the movie Far From Home. Check it out if you want to see Venice in all of its glory being destroyed. Spider-Man Far From Home, great movie. That's for the entire region to hear. Oh yes it is. You made it to heaven, says Margaret. Justin says this is an incredible heist. And Sadia says, I agree, I would watch that movie, that Netflix series. Was it cooked pork? Oh, I don't know, Susie. Probably not cooked pork, probably cured. Probably cured pork. Here's the scene of the smuggling. There it is. You see the Muslims? Here, the Venetians are acting aloof. Oh no, we don't have a body of a saint. No, this is some cured pork. You don't care about cured pork. Do you want to eat it? You want to test if it's real? Not to make light of the Islamic religion, but that's probably the reason why they chose to use pork. And look at this guy is smelling it. And he's like, oh no, definitely not a saint. Oh no, this is one smelly pork. No. Definitely not the body of St. Mark. And then they end up smuggling it into the ship. And here's when they actually acquire the body at first. It's, of course, immersed in the bouquet of flowers. Philo says, hey, it worked, yeah. Indeed it did. Indeed it did. Indeed it did. So that is St. Mark's Place. Oh, not place, not New York. St. Mark's Square, Piazza San Marco. Murano Island is neat with the glass factory and seeing all the glass artwork. Yo, yes it is. Is Venice really sinking? Yes it is. Been sinking for the past century, so it's nothing new. All right, everyone, that is the history tour of Piazza San Marco, St. Mark's Plaza. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let me know if you want to seek out a gondola ride. We already got a lot of gondola fun. The coffers have been stuffed. Luckily not with the body of a saint, but big gondola. And let me know if you want me to find a gondolier, one that's willing to be on camera, potentially, and ride a gondola all around Venice for 35 minutes at least, because that's the fee. Plenty of sights to see. There is plenty of sights to see. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be live every single day at 5 p.m. Italy time, 4 p.m. UK time, and that's 11 a.m. New York City time. Every day until Sunday. Stay tuned. Just don't get a drunk one, says George. I'll do my best. Yes, you must ride a gondola. Kay says 9,500 stars sent so far. Ooh, thank you so much. All right, let's see. How does one get a gondola? Well, let's see the terms first. They have the terms set up everywhere. Let's see. So here they don't have the terms. So let's see how it's written. Servicio Gondola. Take a ferry around Venice. Yes, that's how we started the video, Adam. Check out the beginning. Oh, here it is. I see the plaque. So I want to show you the plaque before I approach a gondolier. Margaret says, ask for a sconto da Venetian. Does that mean the Venetian price? Do let me know. So there we go. Personalized and standard daytime tour. Actually, wow, daytime is cheaper than nighttime. So daytime is 80 euro, nighttime is 100 euro. And it's 30 minutes, maximum 6 people. It's hard to read. But what it says is 30 minutes, maximum 6 people per gondola. Duration of the tour can vary a few minutes due to traffic, tide, or weather conditions. For any type of service, above mentioned, the price difference, there will be a proportional to travel time. And then the night tour prices are from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m. There we go. Let me go over here to the front. Tell him that we recommended him, says Margaret. Water taxis are expensive too. I would love to take a water taxi. That also seems cool. I'm thirsty. Hey, ciao, buonasera. For a gondola ride?
Yes, how many people?
Just one.
Okay,
Yeah. What? Yes, okay, perfect.
It's 80 euro, sir.
80 euro, yes, awesome.
Assumi al volo. No, mi per favore. Okay, please.
I'm on video if you don't mind. I'll make a video. Yeah, I'll make a video too. Yeah, you're okay with that?
No, de verdad no, ya que...
Otherwise, you could get someone else, yeah.
Fa il video, quindi dovete che faccio un
Yeah.
attimo vedere voi.
Va bon, va bon.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Ooh, awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. What's your name?
Alessandro.
Alessandro, can you hold this for
Yes.
a second? Thank you so much. So I can get on. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you want,
Yeah.
we have also a longer trip.
Okay.
Because with the 80,
Yeah.
we go to the Canal, to the Bridge of Sighs. It's beautiful also. We arrive at the other one, we go more inside the narrow canal. You see important sightseeing like Marco Polo, Casanova Palace,
interesting.
an ancient church. If you want, it's a 45 minutes and costs 120.
120. Okay, let's do the 121. Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect. And what's your name again? Sorry?
Alessandro.
Alessandro. Okay, wonderful. Ariel.
Hi.
Yeah.
Where do you come from?
I come from New York. Yeah. And I have people watching from all around the world. So I do live videos where I explore cities. So don't mind me if I talk to the camera. All right, everyone, I'm here with Alessandro, and we're about to do a gondola ride through Venice. So enjoy, everyone, as we go through all these beautiful sights. Hey, Peggy, nice to see you here. Kenya, nice to see you here. Welcome. Welcome to the live video. How deep is the water? How deep is the water, Alessandro?
Outside,
Yeah.
about 10 meters.
10 meters, wow. 2 meters, oh, okay. So 10 meters, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all genders. Hope you don't start feeling sick. No, okay. The waters are pretty smooth here. Buenas, it'll probably be about 45 minutes or so, a little bit longer, 50 minutes. We're doing the longer trip through the Bridge of Sighs. I have a question from all my viewers. They've been asking how long you've been riding gondolas.
It's for 6 years. This is the 6th year.
6 year, oh cool, cool. 6 years.
This is the famous Bridge of Sighs.
Oh, right here, yeah.
On your right, you have the old prison, old jail.
Oh, wow. This is so cool, so comfy. Christoph, how do you feel? I feel like it feels really, really epic to be on the gondola all to myself. It feels really cool. Right here, underneath the Bridge of Sighs, where Casanova passed. So here is only 2 meters.
Yes,
Yeah.
about,
Oh.
about 2 meters.
Oh, that's not too bad.
È successo, ti fa, che passa tuo fratello, ti fa, ara, chi sei? Mi fa, sono Nicolò, figlio di Marco. Mi fa, era che venga Luca. Altro che suo fratello che vuole con la mamma, nessuno ti ha offeso, cioè.
Ma so, giocamente vieni dalla prima apposta, sai?
No, perché vedo che ti parli anche con Tommy, cioè.
E Tommy non gli piace, non ti hai mai giocato. Era messa soltanto diversa prima.
Cosa?
Era messa soltanto diversa prima.
Vabbè, lo dite nel senso.
Guarda che ti sembri una diavolo.
No, prima ti pareva però.
Ah, vai su! Ah, quindi tu pensavi che devi cambiare e niente più a portarti adesso la via?
Eh sì.
Ah, vedi.
C'eri serio prima?
Sylvia, no, right in front. Do fish still come into the waters? No. Yeah, I can imagine.
Prima che mi stavo dicendo che mi piace, se devi aumentare, sì.
No.
Senti la dito.
Si deve aumentare.
No, se devi aumentare, sì, senti la dito. Dopo non cambia niente, se cambia non cambia. Solo che c'è la curiosità, niente.
Nomades pregunta, ¿y viven personas famosas? No sé, ¿y viven personas famosas? Do you know if any famous people live in this area of Venice? No. Yeah, I don't think so. No creo que vive tantas personas famosas aquí porque no es tanto para vivir, más para quedarse en hoteles. So I don't think a lot of people live here full time necessarily, especially celebrities. I think it's mostly for staying in hotels. AR says bench rating. Oh yeah, this is a very comfy chair. Yeah, very plush leather. Very nice and comfy. AR, great question.
Solamente agua. Después la terza cerveza vamos a cantar. E io por cantar mi tres, a io des. No, Sandro.
Non ho neanche di ascoltarti.
Canti e fammi guarda.
Chi viene Matteo?
No, il Marchì.
Ah, ok.
Matteo. Non è neanche di mondo, Matteo.
Tonya, what smells do I smell? It smells salty. It's very salty air because this entire lagoon and canals are all salt water. Hence, that's why the hint I gave. There's coin because there was a lot of money being traded here, and banks. There's salt because it is salt water, and there's salt flats in the other. It's also the city of bridges because all the bridges we're passing through.
Comunque ti passi davanti a ti catalogar con la mano e guardarlo e guardarlo con so.
Oh, those bridges are crumbling. I touched them, a bunch of flecks just fell down.
San Giorgio in Aiga.
Però ti capisci che non aveva detto cattiveria. Prima di ti già eri serio, pareva che ti volessi fare questione. Per questione veramente.
Anzi, guarda, vero?
Nomás se conocen todos los gondoleros. All the gondoliers know each other. Yeah, indeed they do. It's only 400 of them. Is the water dirty to swim, says Adam? Yes, do not swim in the canals here. Unlike some Americans have tried. What's the oldest gondolier you've met? Who's the oldest gondolier you've met? Person, a gondola rider, a pilot. The oldest one. Oldest.
The oldest.
Yeah, oldest.
70 years.
Well, 70 years old. That's still pretty young. So 70 years, oldest gondola rider. You should go to the Beniale by water taxi. Oh, Margaret, yes, I will be showing the Beniale. Ludo, there's one female gondolier, I think. Kay and Mona, thank you so much for a $15 super chat. I appreciate you. And the boats as well. Paul says, why Americans? Yep, Americans have been the only ones that really have been caught swimming in the canals. And Vita, welcome. Nice to see you here. Oh, wow. Nomades, thank you so much for a follow, super chat. Appreciate you. For the Gondola Fund, because we're doing the extended tour. Hey. Charles, is this the first time here? No, it's not. Yes, it is. This is the first time in Venice, not first time in Italy. Lisette, thank you so much for 50 stars. Video's right over there. See, Gwen. Glad. Ralph says, nice videography work. My pleasure, Ralph. I love how loud those sounds were in person. Thank you so much for bringing me back, says Cake Fake. My pleasure, Cake Fake. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Ora, gli ultimi 3 giorni mi sono messo a pay perché già sta vento e anche è mia, via.
Sì, io la faccio una cosa della carta storica che
In front on the left, the
Yes.
palace where lived Marco Polo. Here.
Right,
between
this
the
one.
windows.
Oh,
Look.
between the two windows. Okay.
Look.
Oh, I see. Oh, right here. Oh, wow.
Now this is a theater,
It's a, oh, it's a theater now. Marco Polo's house, ladies and gentlemen. They built on the foundations of the house? They built the theater on the foundations? Oh, wow, 12th century, wow.
Vai. Mi fermo.
So Margaret, yes, this is Polo's house. Marco Polo, famous explorer, went to China and met with Kublai Khan and was imprisoned in Italy. Well, not in prison. He was in prison somewhere else, actually. Different country.
Vai.
Gray, we passed the bridge of size towards the beginning. What neighborhood is this? What's this area called?
This is Castello area.
Castello, okay.
This area.
Yeah.
6 districts.
This one's very quiet.
Yes, yes. Castello start here and arrive to is near Santa Elena.
Oh, okay. Santa Helena.
There is the only district who lives local people. The others are
For 200 stars, and Margaret says, oh, you were right. Polo was in prison in Italy. Okay, yes. Do let me know what was the region.
Infatti, cani sono arrivati sia avec le corde de
They drain these canals ever so often. I think some of them are like once a year, and they re-put the blocks and sort out all the wooden pilings and everything. Is there any significance with the color? Oh, private parking. Ah, I see. So everyone, here we have a palace, a hotel. There's many hotels all
Premando hoy. Premando hoy.
Rhonda, is there dry land on the other side of the buildings? There is, yes, there are some roads and there are squares. Look at that restaurant. Sidewalks, I mean, not roads. No cars are here. Hermes, you stayed in a hotel like this. Oh, that's so awesome that you stayed in a hotel right by the water. Hey, Mira says good evening from Israel. This makes my mind take away from. Oh, 1492. Wow. Right during Columbus. What's the name? Oh, Santa Maria Formosa. There we go. Santa Maria Formosa, everyone. 1492, same year that Columbus sailed over. And Mira says, this takes my mind away from the frightening news. Enjoy yourself. Oh, Mira, hope you feel better. Hope all is well. I'm glad I can take your mind off temporarily from the frightening news. Manfred, thank you so much for a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Manfred. Thank you. Tommy, people are allowed to kayak here? I don't think so. Do you need a license to come on the canals? Yes. Yeah? I mean, not for gondolas, but like a boat. No. And do people kayak? Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Margaret, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate you. Henning is probably a right away, but no lights, no. There's a right away, I think, for the motorized boats. They allow them to go through the middle, and the gondolas go off to the side. Oh, a beautiful garden. Look at that.
Mona, it's all very different building periods that these were all constructed, so I can't tell you one specific era. Also, another thing that the Venetians did since around 800 AD, when the city really started growing, is that they just kept building over these new structures. So anywhere between 800 AD to, I think the last buildings really built were about 1700s. There's only a handful of modern buildings, but not that many.
I have no idea what happened with the audio. Okay, I just removed the microphone.
Vieni, grazie, vieni. Dopo sei pulitissimo.
Si intriga, vai Ale.
Hey Michael, thank you so much for a $7 super chat. Everyone, thank you so much for the super chats. Michael, thank you so much. And everyone, give a round of hearts to all the gondola funders, the people who stuffed the coffers, but now with the body of a saint, but with the with the funds needed for a gondola ride. Thank you everyone so much. Everyone, give a round of hearts to all those people, including Michael, and there's been a lot of others. Irene, Sandy, Paul, many others. Kay, oh, don't worry about it, Kay. There's nothing I can do on my end, unfortunately. So don't worry, Kay. Mona, as I mentioned, the buildings come from all different eras. So the city really started growing in 800 AD, around there, give or take. And then they just continue building upon those buildings. So these buildings do range from 800 AD all the way to about the 1700s, when they stopped really building new structures and they started protecting the older ones. So there's only a handful of new buildings here. Oh, we're back. Wow. That was quite a journey. So everyone, we're going to pass through the Bridge of Sighs again. Vaughn, are the gondola drivers supposed to say no? That's something stereotypical. So everyone, we're back at the Bridge of Sighs. That was quite an awesome journey through the canals of Venice. There are over 400 footbridges in Venice, says Charles. Thank you so much, Charles. Peggy is called Bridge of Sighs because Lord Byron attributed that when the prisoners would be charged with a crime here at the Doge's palace, they would pass through the bridge. Of course, realizing their conviction, they would sigh. And he has an entire poem dedicated to that. Charles says, Venice is also known as the Serenissima. Yes, it is the most serene republic. Shulio says, amazing trip. Oh, my pleasure, Shulio. No comparison to the Venetian gondola in Las Vegas, says Steven. Yes, we're not in Vegas, everyone. And here's the bridge that faces the Bridge of Sighs. And people start snapping photos when there's a very gorgeous woman in the gondola. I've noticed that. Ludo, no Grand Canal for today. But watch the beginning of the video. We passed by the Grand Canal on Vaperetto. Peggy says someone must have dropped their phone in the water. Yeah, I have no idea why he was there. Jay, yes, I'm going to Murano and Burano. Wow. Water's choppy now. Oh, yes, it is. It is Joe. And Victoria, que buscará el señor en el agua la caja de dientes. Sí, ojalá busca que cualquier cosa que estaba buscando. Hopefully he finds whatever he's finding. Are you planning to go to Sicily, Ashley? Not for this trip. Margaret. Ciao, Fiori. Ciao. Hey, Margaret. The water actually looks clean. I wouldn't think it's so clean. David says, if you don't propose to us now, you never will. Indeed, that's what a lot of couples do. Is the man proposes. I have a good story for you. I'll tell you once I'm off the gondola. And here we're back to Piazza San Marco, everyone. Beautiful gondola ride through. So Margaret says, propose to marry the sea. Yes. People also call this the bride of the Adriatic. Because one of the Doges apparently proposed to the sea herself. Nina, no, it doesn't smell bad. I already mentioned that a few times. It smells quite nice. It's salty. It smells like a beach. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me, yes. Okay, wonderful.
You can step here?
Yes. Thank you. All right, let me take out cash. Alessandra, thank you so much for the ride. It was wonderful. Thank you. How much? 120?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Good night.
Good night. All right. There's like a gang blocking the exit. No, those are all the other gondoliers. So that was a ride through the gondola. That was wonderful. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. David says you have to tip. Italy is very rare you tip for anything. So no, you usually don't tip. And also it's regulated by price. That's the stance almost everywhere in Italy. The charge, the kind of the service charge is included in the price. And how are your legs feeling? Oh, they're really nice. That was a wonderful, wonderful trip. Highly recommend doing that, everyone. It's a great way to spend the time in Venice and enjoy the beautiful views. So that was a gondola ride, and I wanted to tell you a quick story. I have a friend who mentioned that they have a very close family member that her and her boyfriend were traveling around all these wonderful parts of Europe. And as they were traveling all around these wonderful parts of Europe, they were going to the most romantic places. And they went on a gondola trip here in Venice. They went to places like I already shown, like Positano and Santorini, and seen the sunsets at those places. And every time the close female family member of this friend of mine was waiting to be proposed. And it never happened, including the beautiful gondola ride through the canals of Venice. And she ended up finding out that the boyfriend was actually very nervous in proposing and was waiting for the right moment. And my friend was like, the right moments happen every single time. So, if you go on the gondola ride with the significant other and it doesn't happen, well, you know, maybe the other person is just a little bit nervous. Maybe it'll happen somewhere else. It's very expensive on the gondola. Yes, it was 120 euro, which is the equivalent of maybe $145 around there, $145 around there. 145, a little bit more, 155, some give or take, because it's about $120 per euro. And Maria says, just do it. Yes, indeed, just do it. And that's adorable. Did they finally do it? No, they didn't. The pandemic. So, the reason that friend of mine was telling me the story was because the pandemic hit. And the man, oh yeah, that's why she told me the story. The man was definitely going to propose that time. He had something very romantic planned in somewhere, I think it was in France. And he was definitely going to do it this trip. He was asking help from the family, and then the pandemic hit, and he couldn't propose. So I don't know what's the update with that story, but maybe if I meet up with that friend again. And here's the pigeons. Hey Tracy, thank you so much for the stars. What's the cost of the striped shirts? Less than €5, I bet you. Probably buy in bulk. Say hello to Bob. Yes, these are Bob's Venetian cousins. Bobette's is indeed Venetian. She left due to the high rents and went on to live a life with the other Bobettes. But their cousins is still here. Hey, Catherine says, my partner proposed in Venice in the Agua Alta. It floats when it floods. Yes. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everyone watching this live video here at the Piazza San Marco. I'll see you in other parts in Venice. Put on those notifications if you want to see more videos in Venice, and slam that like button right now if you haven't already, so you'll be able to see these videos pop up automatically in your feed. And also show it to urbanists who want to see it, but YouTube thinks, oh wait a minute, they're not They watch the New York videos. They won't be interested in Venice. So let's teach the YouTube algorithm. Charles, what's my first impressions of Venice? I love it. It is 100% a museum. Don't come here if you're a foodie. If you're expecting a culinary experience, this is not going to be the place. And this is pure museum, almost pure touristy, as the man mentioned. There's only 1 or 2 neighborhoods that are still kind of local. But if you want to see a really epic museum, this is amazing. I really like the city in terms of what it is. A massive tourist playground. Not with good food, but with great architecture, very interesting history, and very interesting landmarks, which we'll see throughout these next few days. Everyone keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day. Arrivederci, amici.